Once again, I don't have a GoPro, so we just gotta make do with what we got. Feels good to be out here. I love the woods, they're so peaceful. You have to get away from the hustle and bustle of the city. Get some peace and quiet. So we're doing a Silky Big Boy review today. And then we're gonna go through my pack a little bit. This is my EDC bag. It's the ripstop material, super light. This is just what I consider to be my what I'm using for a bug out bag right now. It kind of looks a little bit tactical, but my theory with this was that because granted, I would love to have Mystery Ranch. I really would. You all probably can't see me. I would love to have Mystery Ranch. The problem is that I don't want to look too tactical, especially in my area, because I feel like camouflage in the right applications actually does its job, but in the wrong applications it actually does the exact opposite. And honestly, right now, I think even with the attire that I'm wearing, definitely draws attention to what anything that I'm doing, because any type of a tactical look, I feel it just draws a ton of attention to you on any level. So you know, I want to be unassuming. I'm trying to ride a boundary line there between unassuming and kind of just run of the mill every day, but also, you know, want to be able to have at least some kind of a urban gray man appearance going on that way, in case of a situation. I can kind of blend if I need to, if the situation does call for it. But saying all that to say that this is the pack I'm running right now, and it integrates pretty nicely. And even though the hiking pack is a lighter grade material and is probably not as durable as the military packs are, it's also very lightweight, and it looks a lot more civilian than normal tactical packs. Even some of the stuff like some of the gray man bags that they sell look a lot like this, you know what I mean? They still look tactical. So I don't know, this one, I feel like this is the Rim Runner 22 liter, and I feel like this one looks a little bit just more of like a hiking pack, but it's definitely been really nice. One thing I will say about it is the stitching where the zippers is at, I feel like needs to be reinforced, because I love ripstop. I've fallen in love with ripstop material, but the problem with ripstop is, even though it is ripstop, the stitching, it threads through the ripstop material, and what it tries to do is it tries to get in there and it tugs against itself, and it tries to separate the threads, the fibers, the woven fibers that the ripstop is made from. And you know, that's why you don't want to push it past. You got to know your limit on your equipment, what it can handle, what it can't handle, because other than that, you know, if I'm well within the weight limit of what my carry load is, and I'm running the pack the way it was designed to be run, it's very durable. I mean, I take this thing, like, a lot of times, like, if I need to and I got to pitch it over a fence, like, I can do whatever I need to do with the bag, and it's gonna be pretty durable. And it's been durable. It's done its job, and some of the materials, the fibers are, or the stitching is a little bit stretched out right here, which I'm going to try to reinforce. But once again, that's just from me pushing and stretching the load limit and the weight limit for the pack, and stretching the abilities beyond the 22 liter capability, because, you know, there's times where I've had to try to stuff this bag, and it's just not good for them. So you want to try to keep them under that weight limit, and as long as you keep them under that weight limit, they do their job. So it's been a nice bag, but the way this one integrates too is I keep this bag, and then I also keep a breakaway bag. Hold on. I keep my Silky. We're going to do this review here in a minute. Not that there's not 1,000 of them on there, but I feel like any type of a Silky review is going to get you some views. My daily my problem child. So this bag, I keep my hoodie in there because that's this time of year, and I like to, my clothes are, I like to keep ultralight clothes. Ultralight's a good thing, man. It really is. I enjoy it a lot. Some of the hiking brands, you know, like Ascend, they make good quality gear. Maybe not military grade. Some of these really nice gear brands, I mean, they got $600 jackets and stuff like that. And there's reasons why you want that, you know what I mean? But not everybody has that type of budget. I know I don't have that type of budget. And you definitely want to buy the best gear that you can possibly afford. And this is kind of where I'm at on my style budget right now. So I've chosen to kind of go with stuff that's kind of urban tactical, urban gray man tactical, not even as much tactical. It needs to be able to, you know, be for utility usage and tactical usage, and be able to be used for that purpose. But it also just, I need something kind of that's going to fit the norm of my area. So and we can detail more into that on a later note, but I like to keep my other pack. This is what I consider my scout pack. It's just a water bladder pack, but the reason I keep this on hand is this is for my larger, you know, just in case I've got other, I can't carry a whole ton of stuff in this. This is the bare essential, like EDC items. This has more carry load limit, and there's reasons that I run both of them and integrate them this way. And I keep this as my everyday carry pack, but there's reasons why I have them like this, just in case you got like a heavier load and I need to boogie for some reason. But I also keep this is my EDC bag. It's really nice, and it does fit in once again with a more urban look. I really enjoy this color blue. I think this blue is definitely fitting me as more of a new gray man, because it definitely looks a lot more urban, and it looks more hiking than the other colors, the other OD greens and Ranger greens and Coyote tans and just the stuff that everybody knows. So, and then we've already kind of been through this before. What I keep in here, I have a waterproof bag, right? So that slides right, one pack slides out of the next one, and this all integrates together so smoothly to where if I did have a situation going on, maybe there was a situation where I needed to get to my trauma kit or get to my items in my bags, they all slide apart real easy, especially if there was some type of an application where you know, there was some stuff going down. But with two hands, this works really well because I can just drop. They all slide together real well. I can take this bag off, drop this bag, this one slides out of this one, this bag comes right out of that one, and watch this. First thing out, bam, Israeli bandage. Second thing comes out. It's normally very easily, I got gloves on, but it's normally very easy to come out, and then that comes out. That's the full trauma kit. It's got everything that you would need in there. Compressed Z full gauze. It's got I have other gauze as well. It's got needle decompression. It's got nasopharyngeal airway tubes. It's got chest seals, duct tape, and just some other things. I keep electrical tape because I use a ton of electrical tape for everything. I mean, that stuff works really, really well. I keep a spare Bic lighter inside here as well with 1-inch Gorilla duct tape taped around it, and that's just for extra tape that you need on hand. And there's also this is just your bare essential stuff for trauma. I also have a cat tourniquet that I keep on hand as well. But that's just to try to get bleeding stopped. And this is just the bare essentials. If I can't get it done with this, then I don't think that I was going to be able to do it anyways, because this is just really for first aid. You know what I mean? Like, you're not a trauma surgeon. You're not, you know, but this can definitely be the difference between somebody dying and not dying in a situation. So it's good to definitely have these on you, whether you keep them in your truck or you're like me, maybe you don't have a vehicle and maybe you just keep it in your bug out bag, keep it in your EDC kit, you know. And this isn't a real heavy thing. This is maybe, all this together probably weighs out 1.5 pounds, maybe 2 pounds. I also keep a pulse oximeter here. I do not have the full ability to take blood pressure to be able to get your full vitals, but I at least have oxygen and heart rate available if I need it, which blood pressure would be important. Oh, I do have there's an emergency blanket in here as well for just to help fight shock. If somebody tries to go into shock or starts to go into shock, you have that ability to just to get them covered up, to help maintain a core body temperature. If they're losing blood, what else do I got in here? Keep a Sawyer Mini just for water filtration. That way you can just hurry up and get it on the go, you know. I mean, you can have your Aquaphor, or you can have your iodine tablets or whatever, but those you got to wait 30 minutes for, you know what I mean? So it's a lot easier if you just carry, you know, I carry plastic bottles like that one. They're super light and they don't add a whole bunch of weight to your pack. Because if you know, got a big Nalgene, now some Nalgene bottles are light, but just the more crap you got to carry, the more you're just adding weight, and it's adding weight, and it's adding weight, and it's slowing you down. It's more to go through. So I think small, light, fast, mobile, minimal, what do you actually need? I think those things work better than carrying around just an entire thing. Now there's applications for all different things when you need it, but this is just what I'm using. So, and then this all slides. Oh, and the dry bags are great. I keep dry bags in the back of my bag as well. That way I can keep stuff in my bag. If I had to do a water crossing, I've got dry bags to where I can put all my electronics and my more sensitive gear in. That way it doesn't get ruined, rusted. My electronics, my battery banks, my headlamps, things like that. If I have to do a water crossing, I'll just take it out and show it to y'all real quick. I keep a larger bag in there as well, to where I can just stuff. Really, I just stuff all my electronics inside this bag, and then this bag slides in this bag, which slides in turn in that bag. So everything goes together really easily, and it comes apart really easy, and it goes right back together. And once you get used to using this system, it works as a system, and it's all very quick, and you know exactly where everything's at. There's never any confusion. You're never jumbling around looking for a bunch of crap, because it all works really well. That headlamp is normally not sitting right there, but I also keep just a spare piece of plastic. These can be used for no telling what, you know, just keeping crap dry. I think that's all, but this is just for just kind of my EDC, or if I need to go to the store and everything, because I am on a bike right now. So that's kind of my usual vehicle until I can get another truck. Let me get this. Oops. Yeah, I believe in rechargeable devices. I don't even like devices that have to take batteries, because batteries, once they're out, they're out. They're heavy to carry. You know, if you had to carry a 10 rack of Devil A's or a 10 rack of AAAs just to keep your gear charged. And then what if you get to a point to where, you know, stores stop running or whatever the deal is and you can't get those batteries anymore? Well, then all your devices are dead and useless. So and plus they're expensive. Right now, a pack of batteries is, I think, $18 for a pack of Duracells. You know, that stuff's not cheap. I keep wipes on hand. Always keep wipes. If you don't believe in wipes, you're a caveman. I also keep, this is my electronic kit. This keeps all my, this is a 5,000 milliamp power bank by Anchor. This is a really simple one. This one I got at Walmart for 30 bucks, and it also came with, what did it come with? No, I think it was just the bank is what it came with. But this thing's been great. It's just it's also a charge port or a charge block. It has a 2 USB-Cs, and it has a micro USB on there as well. And then I keep all kinds of spare cables. And then my Skull Candy headphones came with these tiny little short cables. They have USB-C, and they also have the micro USB ends, so that I have a selection for just different devices that I need. And then I also have my rolled up iPhone cable, and that goes in there as well. And this is all in this nice little mesh pack, and that thing will charge all my headlamps. I keep generally 2 headlamps on me, one for redundancy, and then the other one is my normal wear. But this will do that. It'll do my phones. If I've got any other devices I'm running, then this can help take care of that. And it's super light. This thing probably weighs a couple ounces for that whole package. Keep a set of specs on me at all times, a little set of micro specs. They're nothing super impressive, but they definitely get the job done. And I keep them inside this this plastic bag, once again, because I do not want condensation or anything on the inside of my lenses ruining my lenses, because some of these, this is actually a pretty sensitive piece of gear. You know, you don't want to touch the lenses in the front, because you can push them back in there, and once they're lodged back in there, it's trash. They're ruined. So I like to take real good care of them and keep them exactly how they're supposed to be inside of a plastic bag, so they don't get destroyed. That way that they're working like brand new when you actually need them. Because the reason I like to keep these as well is I like to keep a pretty constant bubble around me. You know, I don't like to have things surprise me. You know what I mean? I like to keep way back off situations, and just keep my distance, you know, and just let whatever is happening happen, and I can kind of observe from a distance and see how I need to react or respond, because it just helps me to stay safe. And I also keep a couple of zip ties just for whatever usage. They come in handy. I would definitely, I need to stop by Harbor Freight, probably get a little bit thicker gauge zip ties to carry around with me. Generally, I do keep a chem light just in case I need to signal with it or do whatever. But in an urban situation like I'm in, there's not too much of a use for that. But see how quick everything goes right back in the bags. I mean, these dry sacks, like if you keep everything in your kit super organized like this, everything works like butter, dude. It's amazing. And like before, it took me a while to learn, but I had to jumble around. Through my bags for a while before I finally started to learn that everything needs to be bagged up and sacked up properly, so that everything stays super organized and streamlined. You see how easy that goes back in there? Look, that goes in there. My wipes slide right in behind that. This zips. Also, I keep my zipper rings on the top. That way they zip open from the top. It's always accessible when it's dark. And then I keep my headlamps in this front pouch here. I keep 2 Nebo 400 lumen rechargeable, water resistant headlamps on me. They're not the best in the world. I would suggest Black Diamond brand, because those things I've used out on hunting trips before, and they are beaming, bro. They're so nice. But once again, always go with the rechargeables. Also keep a selection of permanent ink markers, different size tips. One of them is a fine tip, one of them is a super fine tip, and one of them is a chisel tip. I keep 2 reds and a blue. So we got those. I keep my Gerber multi-tool on me. This is the NXT, the suspension NXT. It's not the best Leatherman in the world, but Leathermans are 150 bucks, you know, so granted, you buy once, cry once on a situation like that. Once again, more electrical tape, hand sanitizer, can't have enough of that. I've been around people who are sick, you know, and it's good to be able to keep your hands washed, keep stuff from spreading around, just keep sanitation, you know what I mean? And I also keep a Silcock key. In my Silcock key, I wrap electrical tape around it. It gives me extra electrical tape if I need it, and it also keeps this silent to where it's not clicking and clacking against stuff on the inside of your pack, making a bunch of noise. Keep a spare roll of cordage, 550 cord, and I invest in the high quality 550 paracord brands. This kind came from Academy, and this stuff has been super durable. Like, I've used the crap from Walmart before, and that stuff was trash, man. It was so nasty. Like, it frayed apart and even the casing came unthreaded and started falling apart. Even you know, the more you mess with it, the more it comes undone, and little loops of fibers start coming out of it, and it's just, that stuff was not very good. One thing I also get is these little things. These are little quick clips. I forget what they're called. The name isn't coming to mind right now, but I believe in these. I keep them on a lot of my stuff. I keep them on jacket pockets, like the little pull rings and pull strings on jacket pockets. I also put them on all my hoodies and all my jackets with the drawstrings. If you don't have they're called cord locks. They're called cord locks. I keep plenty of these on me because there's so many uses for them. And I keep them on my hoods as well. That way I can cinch my hood up and my hood stays how I want it. But yeah, all that stuff goes in there. I'm glad I dug that out and found that. I generally keep change on me. I do keep a couple of bus tokens on me just in case I need them. I haven't ridden the bus in years and I don't really need it, but you might find use for a bus. You know, maybe you are being pursued or something and have an ability to jump on a bus real quick. If you get out ahead of them, and maybe there is a bus, you know, where people are getting on and whatever, and you just need to get on that bus to get out of the area real quickly, it could probably give you a pretty low profile way of getting the heck out of there if you need to. So this, oh wait, markers go back in. See, it all goes back in the exact same way it came back out, and now I always know where all my crap's at. I never am in question about what I have where. Like, it's always exactly where it's supposed to be. So this all is going to integrate. It's going to go right back in this sack. Oh, also, I'll show you this too. This is something I just did. I love it. I freaking love it. I went out and I got this. Now this is probably not a good thing to use unless you're in a permissive environment, or a non-permissive environment where it's okay to carry stuff like that around. But because this is going to draw attention. But look how easy that comes out. This is the K-Bar U.S. Space Force. I forgot what that knife is called. It's nice though. It feels really good in your hand, to where just the way it goes. Like the law enforcement, these were designed as a self-defense weapon for law enforcement to keep on their belt. That way they could defend their sidearm if somebody ever tried to get a hold of their sidearm. And it was designed to be able to pull and feel just like a pistol. And it's supposed to be, you know, right there around the area, to where, you know, if somebody ever tried to disarm them, they could have a way, a secondary way to be able to fight off that aggressor. Because man, I can only imagine if you were in a situation, somebody tried to, you know, get your gun like that. That's not good. But anyway, yeah, it's a nice little knife. It's got the nice Cerakote on there that comes on all K-Bar's knives, and it just feels really nice in the hand. It's got some jimping right along the top of the spine, so that you get a good grip on there with your thumb. It is a full tang knife. Goes all the way through, and then it's got the polymer plates screwed onto the sides of the handle. But it's a really nice knife, and you can either carry it like that, so it's, you know, a slasher, stabber, or whatever if you're in a fight, or you can carry it like this, which if it's a chest mount like that, it comes right out and you're ready to go. So yeah, it's definitely a nice one. Nice Kydex sheath, clips in. I would, you know, like I said, you know, unless you're in an environment where that's okay to be walking around like that. Now, if you're in the middle of the night, the reason I have mine like this is because sometimes I'm out late riding around on my bike in certain areas of town that there's more dangerous stuff going on, and I got to get home. And you know, I also was rolling with a pepper spray can that was attached to all this daisy chain webbing in through here, to where it was a real easy. I could pull it off and angle it and spray, because I've had some crazy stuff happen that I really did need. You know, if I was going to need it, I went ahead and bounced out, because I'm really fast on my BMX. I can move on that thing. That's the other thing about that BMX, man. It's, you give it a couple cranks. Like if you riding a really nice high-end BMX bike, that thing is way faster than a 21 speed. It might not be as good uphill, but I had a guy chase me like a couple of times on that BMX bike. He was riding a 21 speed, and he was a fighting age male. He was definitely he was a big dude, probably 6'1", 6'2", 180, 200 pounds, bigger than me. I'm not that big, and he couldn't get me, man. I was off on him like that. You got that small sprocket. I can couple of cranks. I'm up to coasting speed real quick, and I can push those cranks hard, man, and I can dip out of there, because a lot of those BMX bikes, even though they're freestyle bikes, they're also the exact same gearing. Maybe not the exact same gearing, but very close to what they use in actual BMX racing. And BMX racing, they're grooving, you know what I'm saying? And plus, like, all the hubs in that bike are super high end. It's all sealed bearings. The bike is 25 pounds. It's full chromoly. It can be tossed around, banged up, beat up, and that thing is built like a tank, and it's built to last. So that's what I'm using for a vehicle right now, and I don't have to worry about charging it, putting gas in it. The only thing I got to do is mess with the tire tubes, keeping those from running flat. But I've got ways of dealing with that too. I keep a micro wrench. I keep, you know, all my stuff to be able to fix a flat if I need to. And really, to deal with a flat tube, all you got to do is take your small mini crescent wrench, very gently and easily go ahead and loosen up those back axle bolts. Bump the tire forward, deflate the tube, bump the tire forward, pop the chain, pull that back wheel out, carry 2 plastic tire levers from Walmart. The Slime brand sells them, and you can, bam, pop that on one side. You just pop that that tire off the rim, push the nipple through the rim, and pull the tube, deflate. Then you take, I've also got just a real lightweight, small backpacker's pump for my tire, and I'll pump up that tube to where it inflates enough to where it starts pushing air through wherever the puncture mark is, and I can generally smell it because the inside of the tube stinks, and then sometimes you can feel a little bit of windage, but most of the time it's really hard to see those punctures, so I rely on smell to be able to find them. Once I find it, I pull one of those Sharpies out of my bag, and I circle it. That way I know where it's at and I don't lose it. And then I get some super glue and a piece of computer paper. I tear about a quarter size piece of computer paper off. I put a couple of dabs of super glue, like Gorilla Glue brand super glue. Even the cheap shit works, but I'd rather use the expensive stuff just so that I feel better about it, you know. But I put a couple of dabs of super glue on there, and then I put the paper on there, and I push it and kind of work it around and let it hold, work it around and let it form that bond. And what happens is between the glue and the paper, it creates a seal, an unbreakable seal. That it's basically like welding, like rubber welding that material back together. And once you put that tube back in, work the tire back on the rim, and then slide that back up on the bike, re-engage your chain, line up your wheel, kind of tighten the hubs down, and then you pump that tube back up. You want to put about, I run my tubes at about 50 to 60 psi is where I run my tubes at for my BMX, and I'm running 2.4 inch tires, freestyle tires. It might be different for other bikes. So it's good to do your research and know what your rating is and where your comfort level is for the type of tires you're running. But I run mine at 50 to 60 psi. Even with a high psi tire, I don't like to run mine super full, because if they're rated for 110 and you're running 90, I mean, your bike's gonna feel like concrete, you know. Granted, higher psi tire, you're gonna be faster because you got more air and you're running a harder tire, so that there's less surface area as you're coasting on the asphalt. But it's also a lot more uncomfortable ride. Your bike just feels like a stinking rock. But if you're running about 50 on a freestyle BMX, then you're feeling pretty good and you'll bounce around on everything pretty nicely. And I'm 36, so I love BMX. I grew up skateboarding and I love my freestyle sports, but I use my bike for a little bit of light freestyle. I call it freestyle commuting. You know, I'm bunny hopping up on stuff. I'm learning how to bar spin, different stuff like that, but I'm not real hardcore. But I love riding BMX, and like I'll coast manuals like freaking forever, dude. Like straight up, like bunny hop up on little ledges and mani pads and stuff, and just it's a fun little commute coasting around town. It's a nice ride to be able to have. So you know, if you can't afford a vehicle, or that's just where you're at right now, you might look into getting a 20, because and I ride a 20.8, or I'm sorry, a 20.75 top tube length. It's just it's it's real stable. I run a 20.75 top tube length. I run a 13.1 chainstay length on my back. I don't know what my rise is. I think it's like an 11 for my seat post, whatever that measurement is. But it's just more kind of like a longer bike. It just feels way better. It's the perfect geometry for me, and I'm 5'10", so you know, if you're bigger than me, some guys could probably ride like I know Trey, he rides a 21.25, like a 21 and a quarter, but which is a pretty big bike. But I also ride 9-inch rise on my bars. It's just what I learned to ride on, and it feels pretty good. So as far as tires are concerned, if you're looking for a durable street BMX tire, I would go with the Vans Colt tires. I've been running those things, and I've had them all over the city, and they riding through glass, gravel, rocks, torn up city streets, all over everything. And I've ridden them for about 2 months now, and You can barely even notice tread wear. That's a really good durable tire, and that's being compared to Sabrosa and a couple of other tire brands out there that I've ridden. But these ones, the rubbers, it's been amazing, man. They did a good job on that collab. So I do suggest those tires. Let's see. But yeah, so that's my kit, my EDC. Oh, I'm definitely feeling that 36. So this I stuffed back in my bag. I believe in all my clips. This one slides right back into here. And it zips. I also keep a multicam boonie cap in my side here. I keep a multicam boonie cap in my side here because this helps just in case I do have to duck off in the woods or something and I need to get down and not be seen, or maybe it's raining and I just need a boonie cap to keep the rain out of my eyes. It works quite well. So that's my bag. You don't need trash in the woods. Not that there's not already trash all over the place anyways. Ooh, I did find a little S-ring, and I'm going to add to my cook kit for just kind of like a hang ring. See, that's the other thing too about being on a bike. There's benefits to it, man. Like I found money on numerous occasions, bro. Numerous occasions. And then you also find other stuff that's been dropped, things that would normally be considered trash, but they're just little things that you find around, little gems, and it's kind of interesting. I just found all kinds of stuff. See, it's starting to drop off on the temperature pretty quick just because of the time of year we're in. So I've got my little lightweight hoodie. I would look into Ascend. Ascend is, if you're not familiar with it, it's Bass Pro's house brand, and they make high quality gear. They're like they're very similar to North Face in their design, but they're made by Bass Pro, and they're just they're great. They're great. Just another great brand to look into, man. You know, we are going to use this Silky because I want to show you guys what this thing is capable of on harvesting a bigger piece of wood. This is all kind of a new channel, so there's not really a structure base for I don't really have a script or a structure base or any kind of plan going into these videos. Some of them are just kind of random. I'm just throwing them up on here and seeing, you know, what happens. You know, I don't expect success. I don't expect failure. I don't really expect anything. I think that the channels of YouTube right now, the things that are on the survival channels, are a collective of information to help people for when times get rough. You know, there might be some little piece of something that sticks out to you that somebody said or did or showed on their channel that actually helps you in your situation if you do find yourself in one. This is the Silky Big Boy. Something about this, I need to check to make sure I'm recording. I am. So this is the Silky Big Boy edition, the Outback edition. I love this carry case it came in, man. And I would suggest, I was really torn because I only had so much money and I could only afford one saw, and I really wanted to get the whole stinking set. But if you only had to have one, and this was the major question, and I watched all the videos, and what I came up with, I watched all of them like so many times, but what I came up with is if you only could have one of these saws, the one that I would get is the Big Boy, because it would be better that you had more of a capability. Really, it's a compact package. I mean, you can see the length of my arm here. with the size of this saw. That's a size comparison right there, just to clarify. And this thing is weighing 1 pound 3 ounces. The material that it's made out of, I don't know what it is. It's kind of like a cork handle material, but it's like a compacted. It's just dope, bro. It's sick. I mean, it's a nice freaking saw. It's my new favorite piece of my new favorite piece of gear. It's a really solid clamping mechanism in there. I mean, it's not like cheaper saws. I mean, when this thing sets itself, it's like a solid connect, you know what I mean? And if one thing that I did when I started running this at first, I noticed that the blade started to get a little bit loose and not just stay in, because there's no clamping mechanism on there, on the handle, or locking mechanism. I'm sorry, it'd be a locker up here, but because of the fact that there's no mechanism in the saw to click, it sets by itself. But you can always tighten that lock nut, like with the spine of your knife, if you need to. Just obviously be gentle on your knife so that you don't you know, torque the blade too much and cause a bend in your knife. But you can fix that and remedy that problem very easily just by tightening that lock nut. But it's got the 2 settings, of course. One is the setting for, you know, if you're standing up like this and you got to get in like that. And then the other one is just your regular normal setting, or if you're, you know, down that way. It's just a nice knife. There is a little bit of a curvature to the blade, which works well, because if you're working the blade through a piece of wood, as you're working it through, it kind of reaches, it gives good connection for all of the teeth between the material you're cutting and the actual working space of the blade. Silkies are very tough, very well made, but like I said, take care of your gear. Your gear will take care of you. Don't push your gear past its limits, because it'll break. When I run my saws, generally I don't ever push my blade more than it can handle. I like to let the weight of the tool mainly do the cutting. Maybe you can add a little bit of pressure, but I generally let the weight of the tool do my cutting for you. That way you don't ever put yourself in a position where you have to break, or where you do break a blade, because, you know, if, you know, shit really does hit the fan, and maybe, you know, we stop having access to some of the shipment companies like Google, you know, shipping and receiving companies like Google, you might not be able to get another Silky saw. So this is a, you know, you got to take care of the one you got. But what I'm saying is that if I had to have one of the series, it would definitely be the Big Boy, because then I would have more capability rather than less. Now, yeah, it's cool because maybe you want to take out the smaller saw, but really this one encompasses all needs of all the other saws, and it truly is everything that I'm looking for in a saw. So the other thing that I found out is that the inside of the case, it's a really nice case, but the inside of the case is a waterproof rubberized material, so that when you zip it up, it protects it, you know, and it keeps your saw from getting rusted. Also, the blade is an anti-reflective, kind of like a low profile blade, you know, so that you're not throwing flash through the woods. You know, if you are running this in a combat zone or wherever you're at, you know, you're not giving away your location through the woods trying to cut firewood or something, you know, whatever you're doing. Maybe you're building a fighting position or whatever, because I'm sure that, you know, maybe they use these in Ukraine or just wherever. These would be great for building fighting positions, but it also has that anti-reflective material, or black blade coating, or however they do that, to keep it from throwing flash. And the cool thing too, I was worried that the Silky Outback Edition logo would wear off as I was using the tool, it does not, because it is laser engraved in there. So this is a nice freaking piece of tool, man. It is worth, I got mine for 110 off Amazon, and I was gonna get it off the Silky website because they had a deal where you could get them for 56 for the big boy, but you also had to wait 6 months for shipping, and I was like, nope. So let's go ahead and get this tested out real quick. Now when you're cutting, I don't even know if I'm gonna be able to get this picked up. This is like a whole ass tree, guys. Let's see if we can do. I was gonna see if I can get this propped up somehow. Oh, do I want to? I don't know if I have enough light to build a. I don't know if I have enough light to build this yet, because I have bank line on me, but I don't want to. I don't know if I have enough light to lash that up, so we're gonna try to use this stump right here, and now I will say there was another guy on YouTube who did an amazing review on the Silky saw. The guy is like from Sweden or Finland or one of those countries, and you can tell kind of by his accent, but he did an amazing review on this saw. But one thing I will say that he did is, if you are going to cut, don't, and this is where your sawhorse is at, don't cut over here, because you're going to bind your blade. Cut right here to where when you make your cut, after it cuts, the piece of wood just falls off the end. That should be enough. We are going to get you guys adjusted here though. Hopefully you guys are enjoying this video. Like I said, I'm not out here trying to make it the new YouTube sensation. I'm just adding to the pot, you dig? So I'm gonna go ahead and showcase this, and then now I also do generally keep a pair of safety glasses on me, a pair of ballistic shooting glasses, really, because especially if you're out riding a bike, it's best to just have that piece of gear. Really, you got to protect your eyes, man, because if you don't protect your eyes, then if you get your eye injured, you lose your vision, and if you're in an STHF, man, that's a problem. So yeah, we're gonna go ahead and give this a trim. So the way I run mine now, this is a pole saw only, so when you're applying pressure, you're only applying pressure to the weight of the pull stroke, and you're not even pulling that much pressure. So, but that first one, you're really doing a score cut. Just get it scored first. That way your blade has something to, it has a cut stroke or a score mark to follow. And you're just letting that blade do the cutting for you on the pull stroke only. And you're not putting a ton of pressure on that saw either, because what you don't want to do, you want to make sure it goes straight in and straight back out. And you're just letting it's like running like a butter knife. Think of it like a butter knife, really, because you don't want to flex the saw this way, you don't want to flex it that way. You want it going straight forward and straight back towards you on each stroke. Because what you don't want to do is you don't want the blade to bind up on itself, because that's how you're going to snap a blade. So if I was going to get a saw, what I would definitely do is I would get this saw, and then I would buy 3 or 4 replacement blades, wrap those up in electrical tape. That way they're not free flopping around in that bag. And then I'd put those blades in the bag with this. That way I had the saw with like 4 extra blades. And the blades are expensive, but it's a well enough built saw to where, I mean, if you have this saw with a couple extra blades, you'd never have to buy another pull saw ever. I'm telling you, they're that good. Now this is a pretty dense piece of wood. I mean, this is a solid tree that it dropped, and the wood's over here, so it might actually take a minute to get through this, because this isn't some piece of dead wood. And you got to be careful about that too, because that can happen real easily. You're going to pull the saw through, and then if the blade slips out completely, you're going to be ready to catch that to stop, because if you accidentally try to jam that back through, look how that flexes. That's how you snap a blade. So you got to be careful with these things. And they're tough. I guarantee you they're durable, but you can break anything if you're not careful enough with it. Almost about halfway through. Now as you cut, I like to kind of adjust around my cut. That way you make a circumference cut, and you actually break apart the material at different angles. That way you kind of eat through all that quicker. I don't know if you guys can still see me or not. I know this kind of looks a lot, but this is a dense piece of wood, and it's been raining the last couple of days, so let's oh, sorry guys. We're gonna throw a light on me real quick. That way we can get the rest of this video done before it gets too dark to where we can't see. I don't know if a headlamp's gonna be enough light. Somebody else is back here now. People riding go-karts back here. We're almost through it though. Stay right there. See my example? Look at this. 25 pounds. I gotta throw it. Look, watch. It's 25 pounds, and that bike's fine, I promise. It's definitely a little work to get through this, but we're about to drop right now. See? And it falls right off the side. Look at that. Sorry, little guy. So this guy's, that was a very clean cut. Look at that. And that's a solid piece of wood there. I mean, that's the same density as a piece of pressure treated 2x10, or like if you ever bought a that sounded like a gunshot. If you ever bought a like if you built decks or pergolas, or any kind of like a beam overhang of any kind, like a porch or something like that, custom porches. Some of you carpenters out there, I mean, this is like building a 4x6, or cutting a 4x6 or larger. Yeah, that's definitely a gunshot. That's crazy. Boy, somebody's just busting caps over there. We're in the city too. That's crazy. But yeah, that pressure treated lumber, I mean, that can even be kind of hard to cut for some of the DeWalt brushless DeWalt saws with the high-end carbide blades on them and stuff like that. But that is that's a dense piece of wood. I mean, I guarantee you this thing, the piece that we cut off here, I guarantee you that one weighs probably as much as a bowling ball. So for that Silky to cut right through that cleanly, I mean, look at the edge. That was a clean one, bro. That was a clean one. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go ahead and pack up, wrap up, and dip out, because we're already at 57 minutes on this video, and I don't want to take up all y'all's time, but I like long videos. Sometimes, man, I'm a huge music lover. I love my music. I gotta have my music, but sometimes just like, I don't know, just listening to somebody talk, and especially things that I find and share common interest in with other people, they're fun to watch, they're fun to listen in and hear their take on things and what they say, and you know, maybe something they said could probably help me somehow, you know, and developing my skill set. So, you know, there's some of the best and most enjoyable survival videos that I really enjoy watching are some of these guys with these homeless guys that have their own channels, because they're out there actually doing this every day. And if you're talking about living as in a bug out situation, I know Scooch talks about it, but or Such, I'm sorry. I know Such talks about it, and he you know, he explains it like, if you're in a bug out, you're a glorified refugee. You know what I'm saying? You're basically homeless, and that's how you're gonna be living until you can get to a situation. I mean, if you look at the situation in Ukraine and some of these other countries where shit has hit the fan, look at those situations. What is their situation? What does that environment look like? You know what I mean? It's crazy. There's just a different set of rules altogether for how things get played. But we're gonna go ahead and dip out and end the video right here, because I've got a whole bunch more stuff I can talk about. But I need to get out of here because it's starting to get dark. Not that I can't see in the dark, not that I don't have my lights on me, but I can't film a video in the dark. And I appreciate you guys dealing with the fact that I have an iPhone. Because like I said, I'm running on a budget right now, and I don't have the money to spring for a $350 camera, so yeah. Anyways, I appreciate you guys, and I'll see you in the next one. Silver Pony out.